What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? Tonight we are going over D Marble and his bullshit. Put out a video, and he actually messaged me on Twitter about responding to it, and I had a couple of other people that were pointing me towards D Marble's video. So I thought it was a really good chance to educate not only myself, but also you great heathens. And I'd like to say hi to everybody who's in the Skeptic Mafia that's in the chat right now. I want to implore everybody that's in the Skeptic Mafia to use one of your favorite emojis that we put up today. Me personally, I love the one of me eating like a piece of chicken, because like we've actually eaten good the past couple of days. So we had some chicken with spinach. It was delicious. And mushrooms. It had mushrooms in it too. But I actually put out a post today for members only about this video that we're going over tonight, and to give me your thoughts on it, and I will be reading those thoughts here on the live stream. So next week, for all of those in the Mafia, be sure to look out for that post, because I will be directly reading your comments on the stream that day. So first we have Today I Learned, as well as comments after the video. So I hope that you guys are ready. I know I am. And let's get on into the Today I Learned. Well, I had the little intro thing, and it had music, I think. So I still have to get a Today I Learned emoji. I haven't been able to do that yet, like where it's recognizable. But anyways, today I learned that in 1825, painter Samuel Morse received a letter which read that his wife was sick. The day after that, a new one said that she was dead. And then 2 days later, he went to his wife. He discovered that she was already buried. Pissed off for the slowness of communications, he invented the Morse code. He invented Morse code because letters couldn't tell him about his dying wife soon enough. If there was ever a reason to invent something, that would be fucking it. Can you just imagine him developing that shit? It's like, motherfuckers, swear to Christ, I'm just going to develop something right now. Make sure this never happens again. Oh man. Anyways, so yeah, that was him. I hate that his wife died, but I mean, Morse code was very important in general. So today I learned a farmer named Tony DeGuerra developed a plastic mold to put over his pumpkins so that they would grow into the face of Frankenstein, known as pumpkinsteins. Pumpkinsteins. It took him 4 years, 27 varieties of pumpkins, and $400,000 to perfect his idea. That is, I mean, are you kidding me? They grow naturally in the face of fucking Frankenstein. I bet you he's already made up his money from developing it. I mean, shit. Goddamn, KC, that's a little harsh, isn't it? Alright, today I learned Robert Millikan disliked Einstein's results about light consisting of particles, photons, and carefully designed experiments to disprove them, but ended up confirming the particle nature of light and earned a Nobel Prize for that. That is probably the best way to earn a Nobel Prize, I would say. It's like, I don't believe your shit, Einstein. I'm going to go over here and do some science and prove you wrong. Then he comes back and is like, so about that science I was doing, you were right. I was wrong. And then it's like, here's a Nobel. Well, fuck me. It works out for me, I guess. Yeah, he pwned himself. That's right, Mrs. Snarky. All right, so now, of course, we're going into the video. That's it for the Today I Learned. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I know I did. But first, we got to look at the Skeptic Mafia comments for this video. You can't approve it?
No.
Oh. I'm not seeing it on mine. Anyways, I like how everybody's got Casey's. What the fuck? Okay, so Morthos said, be a good video from D Marble to talk any. Not seen anyone else as yet to touch base with it. Some of the things DM says in that video are mind-blowing. Ha ha ha. Yeah, what he says in it is truly mind-boggling. I'm pretty interested. I was pretty interested when I saw it. Chrismer's in the chat.
Why don't you tell me how to become a
Okay, if everybody wants to know how to become a member, please go right there in the title bar or whatnot. There's a join link, or in the description, there is a GE memberships link that says join the Skeptic Mafia. You can hit that link and you can join there as well.
It's also next to the subscribe button.
Well, that's what it said first. There's a join link in the title bar or whatever.
Somebody may not know what the title bar means. It's
next to the subscribe button.
Yeah.
Thank you, Azrael Mysterious, for joining. She just became a member. So Chrismer, have these fuckers never heard of telescopes? With a decent telescope, you can see the satellites for yourself. Unless he's now claiming that satellites are holograms or some shit. I couldn't make it through the whole video, so if he covers this, I apologize. No, I mean, he doesn't. He just says that it's all CGI fake shit. That's pretty much all he says. And then Sean, earbud warning for Sean. My attitude has changed with these people. My new response to all flatards is, time for talk is over. Prove your shit or shut the fuck up. Show us a working model if your flat earth, or concede to the globe. You can't have it both ways. Either you can prove the earth is flat or it isn't flat. We have proved the globe 1,000-fold. All we have gotten from flatards is excuses and mockery. Time for mockery is done. Mockery doesn't prove anything but your own ignorance. Back your shit up or back your ass home! Thank you, Sean, for your comment. It was enlightening as fuck. I do agree that they need to actually bring some evidence instead of like pure speculation, which is pretty much everything that this video is. This video is not going to be anything educational like in his video, but I'm going to provide the education. I'm going to answer his questions, but I'm also going to elaborate on better questions or better answers as to why his questions don't make sense. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It is 16 minutes long, so there are portions I'm going to kind of skip over, but I do have the original video linked if you want to go and see it for yourself. The portions that I'm going to skip over are pretty much just long, drawn-out video sequences where he doesn't talk. So you can go and see it for yourself if you want to. All right, D Marble, dipshit Marble, dumbass Marble, whatever the fuck your name is. Let's go, Daryl. See, I actually know his name. I'm being a dick by calling him dick, dumbass, and whatever.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about satellites.
Please, let's talk about satellites there. Also, I would love to know, he lives the hashtag van life, where he lives out of a van, and not down by the river, but just, I guess, anywhere he fucking wants to. And I'm kind of curious how he heats his van during the winter. Is it like an electrical heater that's inside the van? How do you prevent the van from burning down due to uncontrolled electrical blankets or something?
Where are you getting these electric blankets in space that burn shit down? This is not the fucking 1970s. They have ones that plug into
the car,
like the cigarette lighter thingy.
Right.
And if they tip over, they turn off.
Okay.
Like automatic, and they're cheap. And electric blankets are safe. They don't burn shit down. What are you talking about?
Well, no, I'm not trying to suggest that like electrical blankets will burn shit down or anything like that necessarily. I'm just saying I don't know how he heats his van to where his van doesn't go up into flames. That's all I'm asking.
The heat from the...
Well, Yeah, but he would require his van to be. Anyways, let's get to the video.
Now, people claim that they've seen satellites at night, and I mean, I've seen things that moving across the sky at night also.
Yes, D Marble. Those are called airplanes. Maybe satellites. I don't know. Maybe the really low Earth orbit satellites, if they had blinking lights on them. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I would sincerely doubt that, but most likely the nights that you see moving in the sky are airplanes. I would say. But it's either that or UFOs. You pick. I mean, you're the one in the really kind of fringe, weird ass kind of theory thing. Anyways,
There's been points where I'd be looking up and I would see a light of some sort going across the sky. Yes, sure. But as far as being able to confirm whether or not that's actually a satellite, as we've been shown by the spacefaring agencies, NASA in particular, we can't make that determination just by looking up and seeing a light. In addition to that, NASA's been caught faking so many times that I really don't trust anything that they have to say anyway.
okay, so this is basically where he goes through his genetic fallacy, where he says that all of this information about satellites and anything space related is due to NASA, and NASA is not to be trusted. Therefore, it's all fakery CGI bullshit. Regardless of whether or not NASA has lied, they do not lie about satellites orbiting the Earth. These are independently verifiable things that multiple agencies throughout the world have done. But he tries to throw NASA under the bus saying, oh, I've caught them lying, which it should be really caught them lying, because he doesn't actually catch them lying. He thinks they're lying because that matches up with his own bias. But they don't actually lie to his ass. And I need a drink.
So if you do a quick Google search, you'll see satellites from NASA, and I mean, you'll see a lot of cartoons, CGI imagery, artist depictions. Then you got to ask yourself how exactly these pictures of satellites are being taken, as if each satellite out in space have its own satellite that follows it along to take selfies or something.
So the satellites that he was showing there are all CGI, and that's just because they're for public relations purposes. They're not to actually present them as the real thing. That was never their purpose. So he's kind of building a straw man argument here, because those images are never used to actually prove that, satellites are orbiting the Earth or any kind of fucking thing like that. But what I will say is that there's no ambient light in space, so the pictures that you could get of satellites as they're orbiting the Earth, like even if they were to have like cameras like pointed in their direction to take pictures, it would be kind of hard to get really good pictures, because like shadows are incredibly hard there because there's no ambient light. Also, the brightness of the sun is going to be a lot brighter because we don't have the atmosphere to filter out a lot of the like UV rays and all that other kind of shit. So it's really hard to get a really good picture in space in general. Now, that doesn't mean that those don't exist. You can find those. They're just really kind of grainy and they're not very good quality. So what he's expecting is not necessarily what he would get. He's applying a way strict requirement for what he would need to believe in these satellites, which would be like direct pictures, which you could get, but then again, he got them, or he would get them and just be like, oh, this is, shit CGI stuff. So this is where the unfalsifiable narrative comes in. D Marble, as well as other flat earthers, love to use their unfalsifiable narratives in order to act like they're some kind of authority or that they are in the right. But the fact that you have an unfalsifiable narrative should clue you into the bullshit that he is spitting.
Also, there's video of what seem to be satellites being launched from Antarctica, attached to weather balloons.
Okay, so yes, he's about to go through. I'm not gonna let this play. I mean, it's got some music in it. I don't know if it's copyrighted or whatnot, but anyways, basically he shows video of this instrument. Hold on. He shows video of this instrument being launched from the Arctic. I mean, obviously there are scientific experiments going on in the Arctic. Things are launched from the Arctic in order to do those scientific experiments. So this isn't proof that NASA is lying or that this is how satellites actually get in orbit or whatever. He's just throwing this out there as if to cast doubt on satellites orbiting the Earth. This is not actually proof that they don't. Oh, shit. There we go.
Multiple videos surfacing of satellites, in quotes, crashing in South America.
Okay, so now he's casting doubt on satellites crashing. I know for a fact that you have to do controlled entries for satellites. And they normally, part of the lifespan of a satellite is bringing it down. Like, what's the plan to bring it down? And so that's not to say that satellites sometimes don't just fall out of orbit or whatnot. Mistakes happen, things happen. So he's showing this as if to cast doubt on the satellites actually being satellites, and maybe they're just, I don't know, I guess maybe drones, or they're fake somehow, because it doesn't look like a satellite. But that's just bullshit whataboutery, I would say. Yeah, so, I mean, he lets this play. They start speaking in Spanish and shit. ¿Cómo está?
Then we have to take into consideration from all the data that were given, these images that were given officially of how many satellites are actually supposed to be up there orbiting the Earth.
Okay, so he showed that picture in order to still further cast out on whether or not there are actually that many satellites up there. But, I mean, those would have to be really huge fucking satellites, and most of the satellites are not all that big. Like, I believe the ISS is, crap, I can't remember how long it is, but the ISS is one of the biggest objects up there, obviously. But even so, the satellites are on the order of feet. So the size portion in that picture that he was showing right here, I don't know if you can tell, but those would have to be some really huge satellites, and this looks like a public relations or just sort of a way to conceptualize how many satellites there are up there, because it looks like the satellites are blown up in order to show how cluttered it actually is. And I will say, yes, it is cluttered, but at the same time, it's not so cluttered that satellites will be crashing into each other like he's wanting to insinuate with this video picture.
Orbiting the Earth. Now, the thing about these satellites is that we're told that these satellites from these vast distances out in space are constantly beaming these crystal clear high-def images back to the Earth from millions of miles away. Although I find it odd that we tend to drop calls in between cities, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I mean, the reason why you drop phone calls between cities is because cell phones operate on cell towers. You know, when you're switching cell towers, there's a potential for you to lose the call, or something could become obstructed and cause you to drop the call. There are multiple reasons why. Now, if you had like a satellite phone, then it would be communicating with the satellites, not the cell phone towers. So I don't understand your false equivalence that you're trying to do here with applying like cell phone towers to satellites. They're two totally different technologies that operate in totally different ways and use totally different hardware.
Now, let's take a look at some of these images and give them a critical analysis. In particular, let's look at the pictures of Earth from space.
Let's do it, D.
You'll
Marvel.
notice that the pictures of Earth from these satellites are always sent back as, you know, oriented as we've been taught to view the Earth. There's always the northern hemisphere is at the top and the southern hemisphere is at the bottom.
Is this motherfucker seriously showing us a picture of the Earth of the entire southern hemisphere and saying that it's always oriented north to south? Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe this is a moot point, but I mean, like, it's the entire southern hemisphere that's there. Welcome, Hoosier Atheist, to the Skeptic Mafia. I appreciate you joining up. Feel free to use any of the emojis. Just do Godless and then whatever the fuck you feel like. But I mean, what he's doing here is he's totally negating the fact that like these are public relations images. And so, like, you could orientate them any way that you want to. You could orient them to where it's the southern hemisphere, that's on top or whatnot. You could do any of that shit with it. But because we, naturally see it as north to south, and that's how we orientate it, and that's how we're used to seeing it, that's how it's presented to us. I mean, you could present it anyway, but why would you want to present it any other way other than what we know to be north and south, relating to the polarity of our magnetic field? Liam Alton Wright says, damn, it is saddle lights for the horse riding at night. What? Saddle lights.
Like satellites.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Satellites. Morthos says D Marble's van is fake CGI, I tell you. CGI!
Bottom. We always see pictures of the Earth oriented this way when they're presented to us as actual pictures of the Earth, which I find odd because, well, here, let me get to this. One of my favorite go-tos when I speak about flat Earth is that bodies of water don't curve, that water seeks to find its level, that the surface of water is always generally flat. And the response that follows from the heliocentric enthusiast is typically in reference to gravity, or when I talk about water sticking to the bottom of a spinning ball, they'll talk about relativity, basically how the Earth is out in space and there's no up or down in space, things like that. Now again, being that there's no up or down in space, one would have to wonder exactly how every single time these pictures of the Earth are given to us, how they're always oriented north at the top, south at the bottom.
I really don't think that he understands that, like, you can orient the satellite to take the picture in a certain way. Like, there's no up and down. So again, I say, why wouldn't we, take a picture of it in the way that, we know north and south to work, or how the polarity of our Earth's magnetic field is. Like when we think of up or north or whatnot, we think of it going to the North Pole and then South Pole. So I don't like, we've always known it to be that way, and we're always presented it that way. Why would we present it like upside fucking down? Like, why would we do that? Of course, that's relative to our understanding of the globe. So I just don't understand his point here. It seems like a red herring or a non sequitur.
Some way or another, these satellites would have to be focused out in space and oriented properly each time to get these pictures to show up that way. This would mean that the vast majority of the time that pictures of the Earth that are being sent from whatever satellite being beamed back to the Earth from millions of miles away is always the preferable angle of the Earth that we have been taught in the educational system, and nobody seems to question that.
Because it's easy to just orient the camera in a certain way. I mean, I'm harping on this, and I've said it a couple times, so I mean, it just amazes me how he can't think of like just turning the camera like this way, that way, or even fucking upside down from our relative position.
Well,
yeah, you could always flip the image. You could just rotate it 180 degrees. I don't understand. It's Photoshop. Because it has to be.
at least some people aren't buying it.
Find rocks. On the ground. On the ground. So you have ground in the ocean.
No. These are
At the very bottom you might, but they don't go above the surface. They do not go above the water.
This is not the real one. This is fake. This is fake.
Oh, yeah, but we're on this
I
right
didn't
now.
push it.
Do not push very hard. If you do that, then you're going to... Do not push.
Okay, so I don't know the context of this particular picture here. Now, if these kids were actually taught that the Earth is flat and they're saying that this is fake because they think the Earth is flat, then I would say that borderlines on child abuse. I'm not going to go as far to say that it is, but I would say that teaching your children that the Earth is flat and all science is wrong is near child abuse, because you're educating your children into ignorance. You're teaching them to doubt, what their educators are teaching them. And there's supposed to be some kind of implicit trust between you and the educator. That's why when the educator violates that trust, it's so bad and it's so wrong. But if that's the situation here, then yeah, the kids' parents are kind of shitty. But if these kids are just talking about some other kind of context that doesn't mean that it's a flat earth, then D Marble's being disingenuous. He's not giving us the full context of where this was taken from or who these kids are or whatnot. Are these your kids, D Marble? Because then I would believe that they think that the earth is flat. I hate the use of children to push an agenda like this. I think that it's really, really fucking shitty. And if these are your kids, then I would say that you're a shitty person, D Marble. But I don't know if these are your kids. There's the one little black girl. What? Oh. Hey, GM Skeptic. No Nut November is shit. Sorry, hold on 1 second, guys. I forgot to do my video thingy. And we're tracking. It's not going well. I've already broken it. I never planned to adhere to No Nut November.
They're gonna get tense.
Look, there's a dam.
Yeah, don't push on this.
Now here's an example of a person zooming in on an airplane flying overhead.
Okay, so I want to skip past this a little bit because it's really just, he explains what he's showing here, but I can just do that just the same. Basically, there's a guy on the ground, I'm assuming with a P900. What's up, Blake Furman? Thank you for becoming a member of the Skeptic Mafia. So basically, the guy on the ground has a P900. He's zooming in on a plane that's moving pretty fast through the air, like let's say 500 miles an hour, right? So in the reference frame, you have the guy that's standing still on the Earth, and then the plane is moving at 500 miles per hour, like acceleration forward in front of him. And so what he does is he zooms in on it, and he has to keep moving his camera around to keep it into view. And so what he's doing here is he's providing a basis for the argument that he is going to be providing next, which I'll wait to address until we get there. But the plane is moving up there. There's a guy stationary, and he's having to constantly bring the airplane back into focus. GM Skeptic, I heard that if you succeed in No Nut November, your virginity grows back and you have to become a flat earther. Oh shit! I don't know. I'm willing to test that. I will be the test subject for that particular thing because I'm not.
No, you won't.
Huh? No, I'm saying that I've already broken it.
I thought you said I will be.
Well, I will because I'm gonna break No Nut November. So if I don't adhere to it, then I become a flat earther and my virginity grows back. Oh. Oh, okay. Sorry, I read that wrong. All right, so let's get back to Dipshit Marble's video here. He sticks with this for a while. Christmas, then there's Destroy Dick December, where you're nut for every day. So once the first, twice on the second, thrice on the third, and so on. Jesus Christ!
That'd be fun for about a week.
Yeah. Okay.
Position on a tripod, locked in. Okay, and still he's having a hard time zooming in and getting a good lock on the airplane. Now, one video that I've been delving into, taking a really close look at, is the one from NASA's website where they show that the moon is transiting across the face of the Earth. And that was from the Earth Polychromatic Imaging Camera. This was back in 2015 when that happened. So that 20-second video, let's think about this. What NASA's telling us is that 20-second video took place July 16th, 2015. Over the course of that time span, basically, that time lapse was pictures taken over the course of almost 5 hours. And what they did, they spliced those pictures together and create that 20-second video that's being shown right now. Let's think about the epic for a second.
I would also like to point out how the Earth is tilted to the side at this point, and it's not like, it is like arranged like north to south, I guess, but it's got a gangsta lean on it. I just want to point that out real quick.
Camera that was taking those pictures of Earth for that amount of time, all right, was said to be 1 million miles away.
Welcome, urban imposter. Thank you. Cutthroat Juggalo. On the 5th day of Christmas, I nutted 5 times.
So it's this camera out in space, zoomed in from 1 million miles away, and they're saying it's been locked.
Okay, I have to correct him for 1 second. It's the Discover satellite that has the Epic camera mounted on it that is taking images through a telefucking-scope. It's taking images through a telescope and taking pictures of the Earth. Just to preface that. 420 Devil Dog. Hail the gods of V8. Ride eternal, shiny and chrome. Thank you, 420 Devil Dog.
In for almost 5 hours, okay, 4 hours and 55 minutes, while the Earth is still orbiting around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. That means that this 20-second clip of those pictures being spliced together means that the Epic was able to track the Earth as it moved 329,300.
I know. So I want to read Chrismer's comment here. Telefucking scopes exist, D Marble. And then Azrael said the van is in his parents' garage. So basically, he's not understanding like reference frames, and that's very important when discussing relativity and relative speeds in physics. Because like right now, my reference frame is standing still here in my apartment. So if a plane come crashing overhead or something like that, then in this reference frame, it would appear to be moving extremely fucking fast, and I would probably shit my pants. But in the reference frame of the solar system, like we don't like the way that he showed it a second ago. Which the way he shows it right here is not in any kind of reality like at all as to how you would actually visualize it, because like the solar system is an entire entity all in of itself, and itself is moving through the solar system. Or the universe, and so or galaxy, whatever. I can never get those particular hierarchies correct just yet. I'm working on it. But anyways, so it's moving through the universe as one, right? And so what he's doing here is he's presenting this view of it in order to cast doubt on it actually being true, because this seems unbelievable. What he's not understanding, though, is that we have a reference frame, and in our reference frame, we are moving along with the entire solar system as it moves through the universe. So I get him boiling it down this way, but it's very disingenuous, and it's a straw man way of actually presenting the information. But like I said, he doesn't understand reference frames, and if he would just take a second and actually understand what reference frames are in physics, I think that he would understand how wrong he is.
This together means that the Epic was able to track the Earth as it moved 329,372 miles through space, and it was able to take those pictures in such a spectacular order and splice them all together as if the Earth were in a fixed position.
Well, I mean, the Earth isn't in a fixed position in general. It's in orbit around our sun. And even our solar system isn't in a fixed position because it's moving through the universe. But in the reference frame of our solar system, I mean, the sun is still in the center of it, and we're moving around it. So that's in that reference frame, that's what's happening. in the reference frame of the universe, our entire universe, or our entire solar system is moving through it. And what he's trying and attempting to do right here is something that I heard from Simon Dan earlier, and that's number salad, or just throwing out big numbers in order to confuse people. And I've referenced this before, except I haven't used number salad before, but that's exactly what it is. Number salad. And he's he's representing these numbers, but he's using these big fucking numbers in order to confuse people.
What I did, I went in a little closer and I pulled up the schematic for the Epic. And on the schematic, it shows a lot of components that are used to capture images. Okay, lots of that going on. But as far as propulsion and moving that camera around, moving that satellite to get those pictures perfectly locked in, there's only one means of propulsion, and that's at the bottom. Okay, the propulsion module at the bottom. Now, if we're out in space and there's no base, there's no foundation, there's no up, down, there's no left or right, there's no direction out in space because it's all relative, right? So there would have to be an exceptionally complex navigational system in order to keep that camera locked in on the Earth at that distance for that amount of time. If you can find the schematic, if you can find someone that can properly explain how a camera from 1,000,000 miles away was able to zoom in on the Earth, lock in while the Earth travels through space, and is able to take pictures, these crystal clear high-def images, and beam them back real time, create this beautiful time lapse of the moon transiting in front of the Earth with only one means of propulsion and navigating this satellite. You let me know.
Okay, D Marvel, I'm here to let you know that you're completely wrong about all of this. The satellite does not actually need like extra thrusters all over its fucking place in order to maneuver itself to get these pictures. Obviously you haven't researched what are called Lagrange points, or these L points. And in a two-body system of two massive objects, the gravity that forces that are interacting end up creating at least 5 points where these gravity neutral zones are. Now, there are 3 that are directly in line with the sun and the Earth. So there's L3 that's on the completely opposite side of the sun from us, and a lot of science fiction writers have actually thought that like this is where planet X is, and since it's on the direct opposite side, we can never see it, so there's no way to know that there's a planet there, whether or not there's a planet there. Welcome, Godless Iowan, to the Skeptic Mafia. How you doing, man? Urban Imposter, I know. He doesn't believe in gravity, but you know what? That's fine that he doesn't believe in gravity, because these are verifiable facts that were discovered long ago. So anyways, that's L3. Now, L1 is the 1,000,000 miles away from the Earth right now. And then there's L2 that's on the other side of the Earth. It's 1,000,000 miles away from the other side of the Earth. So at these 3 points, though, they're like they're more or less peaks. Like they're very small areas that like anything parked there could be influenced by a small amount of gravity and get knocked out of it, right? Whereas the 4th and 5th points are more like valleys, and they're a lot more stable, and you can actually park something there and it'll stay there. That's why these Lagrange points, or Lagrange points, whatever, are actually called the parking spaces of the universe, or something like that. Thank you, Mrs. Snarky, for becoming a Skeptic Mafia member. And so the Discover satellite is actually positioned at the L1 point. That is the point that's between the sun and the Earth, that's 1,000,000 miles away from the Earth. And that's where it's positioned. Now, on the other side of that, you have the W map that records the cosmic microwave background radiation is sitting at the L2 point. The James Webb Space Telescope, that particular satellite, it's going to be heading to that position too. Now, as the Earth orbits around the sun, these points move along with the Earth. So because of the fact that that satellite is sitting there parked in that particular spot, it is going the exact speed that it needs to in order to stay perfectly in line with the Earth as it rotates, or not rotates, sorry, as it orbits around the sun. So it doesn't have to do any massive thrusting. All it has to do are what I believe it was Urban Imposter said, vector thrusts. All it has to do is small thrusts in order to course correct whenever the gravity of the sun starts pulling it off course. And that is how the Discover satellite stays perfectly in sync with the Earth as it moves in its orbit around the sun. Oh, Godless Lesbian asked, how do flat earthers account for different time zones? And they don't actually account for them like completely. What they basically do is just say that like the sun orbits, in our upper atmosphere, and that's what creates basically time zones. But I mean, that's not a sufficient enough explanation because I mean, we don't know what's causing the sun up there to orbit. We don't know what the sun's made out of. But also the light dispersal pattern from an orb up there that's emanating light does not meet the dispersal pattern of a spotlight, which is what they say. But even so, even if it was a spotlight, it doesn't make sense like with that particular light dispersal pattern, how it moves across the Earth and the time zones. So they don't actually explain it. They just say, oh, the sun's in the upper atmosphere and it rotates up, it orbits above us like that, and boom, time zones. And so it's not a very good explanation.
I'm calling BS on the whole thing.
Of course you would.
Personally. Now let's look at another aspect of this whole situation. The analogy I like to use in comparison to when items leave the Earth. What I've been thinking about now is, think of a person driving a car down the freeway at 60 miles per hour. Okay, if there's a fly buzzing around inside that car, the driver gets annoyed, rolls the window down. The fly gets sucked out of the window of the car. Suddenly the fly is independent of the car. The car continues moving. The fly's out, buzzing over the freeway, back in the rear view. All right, so you got to ask yourself, is it possible that the fly can ever actually catch up to the car? Absolutely not. That's a physical impossibility.
You don't know that fly's life. It could turn into fucking Superman or the Flash, and it could run its ass up there and be like, yo, motherfucker, and then show its dick right there on the fucking windowsill and be like, turn the fuck over, and then flip it over its head, and then that's how Superfly is born. You don't know D-Marble. Like Ant-Man and the Wasp. Don't fuck with them people. But more seriously, though, if you will, the car is one reference frame while the outside is another reference frame. The car is moving through the atmosphere, and it's created sort of a pocket of atmosphere that moves with it. So with the fly being in the car, it's not being pushed by anything or whatnot. It's It's free to fly around inside the car, but when it goes outside of the car, it is free of that reference frame, and now it's in the reference frame of the rest of the world. And it's going, and because it's going the same speed as the car, the wind causes it to slow down really fast, and then the fly becomes a part of the reference frame of the rest of the Earth. So this is all perfectly explainable through physics and relative speeds and all this other shit. But you would actually have to go to college, I think, in order to get that kind of education. And something about your van tells me you didn't make it that far.
Fly cannot flap its wings fast enough to ever catch up with that car. Period. Point blank. Not gonna happen. Now, if DARPA were to retrofit a microscopic camera and mount it to that fly, the way that the fly is moving through the air, if it were able to zoom back into the
Welcome, Godless Lesbian, to the Skeptic Mafia. I appreciate you being part of us here.
on the car some way or another, do you really think that the fly would be able to take perfect pictures of that car in the same place and from the same position, the same angle over the course of 5 hours? I don't think so.
Well, no, because a fly versus a car is totally different than the Discover satellite versus the Earth. Like, this is a false equivalence fallacy that he's using here, because the fly obviously can't keep up with the car, but also the car is not a massive body orbiting around another more massive body, which creates Lagrange points that the fly can then park its ass in and exert little energy in order to stay in that parking space. So no, that's not comparable.
So with that, let's look at some of the numbers, okay? Did a little more digging. And
Y'all ready for more number salad? I got a whole bowl fucking right here of numbers. Oh yeah, I got some good numbers. We got ranch to put on this shit too. Fucking numbers out of our ass. Come and eat this math.
It's just disgusting.
Ranch is delicious. I don't want to hear shit.
Gross. It's not as
Welcome, JC. I appreciate you being part of the Skeptic Mafia.
and this is what I came up with. Now, according to NASA, the Earth Polychromatic Imaging Camera, or the EPIC, was launched February 11th, 2015. Those pictures that were on the NASA website for that time.
Hold on. No. So, if you read the description here of Discover on Wikipedia, it says Discover started orbiting around L1 by June 8th, 2015. It says it right in the description. You didn't think to think about, oh, well, what the fuck's L1? And then research that a little bit? Like, it seems to me like you superficially looked at any kind of references that you found and you just went with your gut on explaining shit when you could have actually looked up what the fuck was happening.
Pictures that were on the NASA website for that time lapse showing the moon transiting the Earth, that was those pictures were said to have been taken July 16th, 2015. Now, the amount of time between those two dates was 155 days. Now, 24 hours times 155 days gives us 3,720 hours. Now, with that in mind, we have to take into consideration that according to the heliocentric
Welcome, crazed clown, to 27958 to the Skeptic Mafia.
model, the sun is said to be dragging the Earth and the rest of the planets along through the solar system, through the infinite vacuum of space at a speed of 514,000 miles per hour. Now, 514,000 times 3,720, okay, this means that from the time the EPIC was launched in February to when those pictures were taken in July, that the Earth had moved 1,912,080,000 miles through space. Well over 1 billion miles through space. Okay? The EPIC's independent of the Earth. Earth continues to move. Alright? But some way or another, in July, the EPIC was only 1 million miles away. Given
Is he not done yet?
No.
the schematic showing us that the propulsion system was only in one spot, only able to fire that satellite in one direction, how exactly was it able to keep pace with the Earth at that speed? Was it being dragged in the sun's gravitational pull, maybe the Earth's gravitational pull the entire time?
It is part of this solar system's reference frame. So when it leaves the Earth going a certain speed, it keeps going that certain speed. Like, I mean, it eventually will slow down into like an orbit around the sun, but it's all part of this solar system's reference frame. So it's kind of like, welcome Super Mutant 2099. I appreciate you becoming a Skeptic Mafia member. So it's a lot like if you're on, let's say, a train, right? And the train's going 60 miles an hour. And let's just say for the heck of it, you can run 5 miles an hour through the center of the train. Well, then effectively from a reference frame outside of the train, it would seem like you're going 65 miles an hour, while inside the train, you appear to be only traveling 5 miles an hour. So in the reference frame, like it's moving a certain speed, but it's moving inside the reference frame until it actually moves like outside the reference frame, or it escapes the effect of the sun, which, by the way, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but the effect, like the gravitational effect of the sun reaches all the way out to the point where, you know, we considered Pluto a planet because it was caught in the sun's gravitational field. So you would have to go pretty far outside the solar system in order to escape like the influence of the sun. Okay. So it's inside this reference frame. And everything that you just laid out, the shit that I slept through, I don't even have to look at it to know that you're just throwing number salad at us, and it literally means nothing because you don't understand physics.
The propulsion system would not be sufficient to keep up with the Earth over the course of that period of time for that distance. There's absolutely no way. 1,912,080,000 miles is the amount of space through which the Earth had moved between February 11th and July 16th. And on July 16th, NASA says that the Epic was taking those pictures from that fixed position only 1 million miles away. And yet, over the course of that 4 hours and 45 minutes, the Earth had moved 318,250 miles through space. Again, without any base on which the camera would rest, without any real-time manual orientation. Okay, we're talking about someone's operating the Epic.
Yes, Teo, he's in a van right now. So he doesn't understand the fact that the Discover is in the L1 point and it's in an orbit that's moving fast enough to where it stays perfectly in line with the Earth because it's in that L1 point. I don't know if he just didn't look up Lagrange points or what they are, how they were calculated or anything like that. But I would, any flat earther that's watching, look up Lagrange points and understand that he's wrong.
From Earth via remote from millions of miles away.
Peachy, John, I think it's safe to say that he doesn't understand anything. And then Christopher, without a telefucking scope because he doesn't know telefucking scopes fucking exist. Oh yeah, I wasn't sure where it ended, but yeah, I forgot about the Oort cloud. The Oort cloud is there too. It's affected by the sun's gravitational field. Thank you, Mark Caesar, for pointing that out.
And they believe it. I'm not buying it. I'm calling BS on the whole thing. Okay. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section. I just wanted to share that with you, this little thought exercise. This is just something I've been contemplating. Like, that part kind of doesn't make sense if you really, really think about it.
But if you really, really research it and you just understand what it's fucking talking about, or why it's able to do that or whatnot, if you actually understand what's happening, then you'll really understand what's really going on. Not what he's putting out there, but the actual situation. So that's it for his video. It was pretty long, and I wasn't able to skip through more of it than I thought that I was. So it's taken up a good bit of time, almost the entire time. But we're still going to go through comments. So if you're new here, we're going to go through comments real quick. If you're leaving out, thank you, heathens, for tuning in. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice and all that kind of good shit. And I guess we'll see you tomorrow morning with some Jordan Peterson goodness. But for those of you that are sticking around, we got comments. Comments of the day. Prepare your anus because it's gonna hurt. It's still gonna hurt. So I really kind of like this comment, and I like my response to it. If Jesus didn't exist, then who made him up and why? And don't say the Romans, because Christians were executed for being more loyal to God than the Tsar. And then all I had to reply was, Jews. Crazed Clown 27958. Yeah, I definitely would. Hey GE, if you would send, if I would send you a painting, would you hang it up for like one episode? I actually have a couple paintings from a fan that I got to get up here at some point. But yeah, if you want to send me the painting, my PO box is actually listed in the about section on the channel, so you can get it there. So yeah. But yeah, so it's my idea that existing Jews were turning into Jewish Christians, and fuck me in the ass if I didn't forget to do shit. And I normally remember, but for some fucking reason I didn't. And it's being a little bitch, and I'm talking without actually being there. This is the voice of God. GE will be back in a minute. Like right now. Oh, I'm tracking him. There we go. Okay. So let's get rid of that. Okay. So yes, Jewish Christians made him up. I feel like they were, well, not exactly made him up. They read from scriptures and they interpreted what he was actually supposed to do on earth, or what he was actually supposed to be. That's what I think. And I got a lot of evidence to support that, which I have a debate Monday on the Non Sequitur show about the historicity of Jesus. So please tune in there if you would like to. Great video, but this is a comment for an old one between Reds and yourself. The idea of Jism and his personal dome shite. If we have these dumbass things above us, then why in battle, when certain people celebrate and fire weapons in the air, those things don't just shatter? I think that is a perfectly reasonable question to fucking ask. Sweet Heathen said, all hail Julius Czar! Zero says, I'm still a Santa historicist. See you later, Mrs. Snarky. All right. I don't know. I think that those particular domes probably would shatter, but you know, Jism wants to have his own little fucking reality, and he can have that, I guess. The sun's light is what feeds all of us. It's what makes the CO2 molecules that we eat to turn to energy through protons. Photons. Sorry. That was my favorite part. I raised my eyebrow so much it obscured my cranial eye more than it already is. Man, my cranial eye is definitely obstructed as fuck right now. I gotta tell you. And I don't understand this particular comment. Thank God that Newton is dead. Like, do you think Newton just crafted gravity in his basement or something one day? He was sitting under a fucking tree and like an apple fell, which I don't know if that's a myth or not. That might be a myth. But anyways, he put a name to the actual natural phenomenon. He didn't like make it in his fucking basement or something. I mean, to be quite honest, if Newton was still alive today, I would be pretty concerned about it. Wait, I gotta do that right. Dude! Why don't you shut your bitch mouth up and let them talk? Don't even drop the first line and you went in like a drunk squirrel and fattening lard. Jeesh. I like how the last part is just jeesh. I know. I don't know why I'm a drunk squirrel. Like, I don't think I sound like a drunk. Do I sound like a squirrel? Like, high-pitched? I guess I am a little high-pitched and shit. But yes, Urban Imposter said that's how response videos work. It is, and these are just people that don't know how response videos work. I always love it when I get those kind of comments too, like, just let it play! Watch the original fucking video. I don't know if this guy was yelling at me or at ODD, but he says, it's a Buddhist map, you idiot! God damn. If you make videos, at least be intelligent and know what you're talking about, you fucking moron. To spell your correctly, he might take you seriously. That's right, KC. But I don't know if he's talking about me or what. But if he's talking about ODD, I agree. If you're talking about me, I fucking disagree, you dipshit. Thanks for your fucking interest in Godless fucking engineer. Stufu. That's just it. Just stufu. I feel like at this point he was probably drunk on probably Muhammad. I don't know. He kind of looks Muhammad-y. It's just like stufu. No. What? It was wrong for me to say that.
No.
Oh, yeah. This is the same guy again. This guy's a moron. It's okay though, can't blame him. Most people can't think for themselves. ODD TV asks questions, what's wrong with that? I love low-level educated people think that they can give their opinions that would hold any water. Lol. I'm not low-level. What is up, Chris Kelling? I appreciate you becoming a member of the Skeptic Mafia. But I love this right here because it's like I'm not low-levelly educated. I've got 2 fucking degrees in engineering. I am not low-level. And I find, I don't know, whenever somebody questions like my education, I just have to laugh about it because I feel like I say reasonable fucking things. A open mind. See, I added an and because that's how you're supposed to fucking actually do it. But a open mind is a free mind. Ignorance is bliss, I will say to you, sir. Oh, okay. Bible History Skeptic says anyone who says Godless Engineer is a low level is a moron. Thank you, Biblical History Skeptic. But yeah, I mean, I get that ignorance is bliss, but I feel like you're the ignorant one. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, I do have an open mind, but I'm also not easily convinced by bullshittery and woo bullshittery or anything else. Oh, here's a good one. Zero said, Godless Engineer, you a basic bitch with 2 engineering degrees. Scuba Steve asked, does this Premiere crap do anything for you as a creator? Because I gotta say, it's really fucking annoying to think I've got a nice new video from my favorite creators, only to find out that I've had my hopes and dreams smashed to pieces because I've got to wait 1, 2, sometimes 3 whole days. I'm an 80s kid, man. I need instant gratification or I get bored. Fuck, go jerk off somewhere else, I guess? I mean, I don't know, Scuba Steve. But no, seriously, I like using the Premiere stuff because I get to interact with you guys, and also I do the Premiere things so the Skeptic Mafia can use the emojis that they pay for every month. with $5. So that's the reason why I do those. I love interacting with people during the streams, and that's what I get out of it. And I try not to schedule any premieres until like the night before, because I want people to have time to set that reminder so that they can know when it's going to be going live, and they can plan, their time out to where they can be there for it. I like doing that so that you guys will maybe be there so I can interact with you. But if that's not wanted, then I guess I understand. But it seems like a lot of people really enjoy that. So let me know in the live stream right now if you really enjoy that particular part of the premieres. I know not everybody is there to see the premieres, but if you are, let me know what you like about it. All right. The Big Bang and evolution are theories, not fact. Some people have faith in those theories. The Big Bang and evolution are not just theories, like a theory that you'd pull out of your ass. They're scientific theories. They're well supported by facts. They are indeed, like, they are so strongly held that they could be considered facts at this point. Christopher, Godless Engineer, I like the premieres, especially on Facebook. I'll have to consider doing more premieres on Facebook. But I do have to say that I hate it when they paint evolution and Big Bang as theories. Just general theories, like, oh, they're just a theory. It's like, no, they're stronger than that. And then the whole faith thing, saying that we have faith in it, that's really ridiculous too. And those are the things that really grind my gears and make me want to, like, I don't know, punch a wall or something. I don't punch walls, but I'm just saying it gets me mad. Is it true that there are interdimensional demons, but the Doomslayer is there to protect us? Yes. The Doomslayer is there, and he will always protect you. Bible history skeptics. Shit, fuck that just theory crowd. Like, I don't actually fuck with them. Can't have them breed. Don't you know? Fuck them. But fuck them. Blake Furman, string theory kind of hurts our stance that theories are proven. Well, the string theory is more the title. It's not that the string theory is a scientific theory. It's still a hypothesis. It's kind of like God particle or something like that. It's more of a misnomer than anything else. But I get that it would confuse a person that thinks of theories in that way. I get that would be confusing to them. And then we'll end on this one tonight. How do you join to become a member? Help! Well, Blake, you became a member. Thank you, Blake, for becoming a member, because I noticed that you became a member tonight. For all of those that don't know, there's a link in the description about becoming a member, but also right next to the subscribe button, there is a join button too, and you can join right there. So if you want to become a member of the Skeptic Mafia, you can do that right there. Then I think we actually had one more, I believe, and I'll cover that one really quick. What's so crazy about believing in a created place by a creator? There's nothing to suggest that any of that is actual reality. I would love to know if that's actual reality, but it isn't. Nothing in science or the natural world points us in that direction. So that's what's crazy about believing that, is that it's not actually proven. All right, heathens. Well, that's it for the show tonight. I will answer a few questions, although it's getting kind of late, so I am going to need to go here in a second. But members, obviously, I'll read yours before any non-members, but also super chats will get read instantly. Yeah, so you get the point. Let's see. Chrismer. Godless, so you'll be participating in Destroyed Dick December? I know I will. I find that around 12 is my max, though, so I don't know if I can make it into the 31st. I think that you would end up really destroying the dick if you started doing that, like 12 times a day. I don't know. It's at some point you would have to get so desensitized to it that I think that it would take more time to jerk off that many times. And then there's the part where you just start spraying like dust and shit out of your dick because you're just so fucking dry. Hydrate that shit. JC, Thor says your holy work, GE, is supported by the Zeus gang. Hashtag Zeus gang. Vesta says, take care, GE. Thank you. Sweet Heathen, thanks for the lulls. Gotta run. Good night, all. See you later, Sweet Heathen. Godless Lesbian, 42 is my record, which is why I'm marrying the Irishman. God damn. That yeah, you gotta have like a fucking what's the thing in your arm? You gotta have fluids, like just an IV. You gotta have an IV directly there. Morthos, what does a flattard and Trump have in common? They're both crazy as fuck, I guess. That's what I would say. Azrael Mysterious, fuck. Tesla Ranger, don't mention string theory. I did, but I think I got away with it. Basil Faultwee paraphrased. Oh, okay. Rusty Ross, think of your forearms though. GL, that is TMI. Yeah, Peachy. I don't know. Godless Lesbian, an IV. Thank you.
And then
Too much masturbation. Yeah, that's right. Bible history skeptics. Can't wait to debate you on Monday. Love you, man. Question, what is your favorite classic rock band? Ooh, favorite. There are so many good ones. I probably would have to say AC/DC, but I mean, I like Queen. I like, oh fuck, there's so many to pick from. I would probably have to say Queen or AC/DC would probably be my two favorites, which we're going to go and see Bohemian Rhapsody tomorrow. So I'm really excited for that. Oh, thank you, Ian, for joining in, because it's 4 a.m. in the UK for him. Damn. $42 equals 6 times 9. That's 42. Yeah, that's right, Vesta. AC/DC, yeah. Dirty deeds. Done dirt cheap. GE, do you like thrash metal? I don't know if I've heard any thrash metal. I do have this one group called Vomitron, but only because, which that's more of a, I guess maybe just a general metal, but they have a NES like covers album, and I really like the NES covers and metal version. Azrael Mysterious, it is the answer. It is also too many orgasms. I hadn't seen him in 15 months, so it happens. That's just what happens. Urban Imposter, you should team up with Simon Dan for some flat earth fuckery Friday. Oh yeah, definitely. I think so too. Godless also, my ex-girlfriend did 27 because it was my 27th birthday and AP wanted to break the record. Damn, boy did he. Morthos, AC/DC best sound. Best. Sorry, I lost it. Best sound is about pork sandwiches. Oh, song is about pork sandwiches. Kenzie Benedict, Godless Engineer, look up Steven and Seagulls. They have an amazing cover of Thunderstruck. I definitely will. Tesla's got to go. He's got his work calls. Yep, I know. I'm going to go ahead and go, guys. I really appreciate you joining in. I appreciate everybody joining up on the Skeptic Mafia. Keep a watch on the page in the community post section, because I generally post up a schedule for the week and everything like that, and you get a lot of goodies with becoming a member. So if you're not a member yet, please consider joining the Skeptic Mafia. And we will see you heathens later. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, guys.